Hello, my name is Nicholas. Thank you for checking out my video. In my first video, I talked about fructose. You can click here to watch it. I talk about the differences between fructose and glucose. So I'm going to move forward and just talk about the metabolic pathway associated with fructose. So at this point, I just want to talk about how fructose can become, let's just say, triglycerides or fatty acids. So with fructose, we have to understand that there are enzymes and pathways involved for it to become, well, whatever it will become. So for example, with fructose, there's an enzyme called fructose kinase. And that allows fructose to be, let's just say, converted to fructose-1,6 phosphate, I believe. Can't remember off the top of my head. And then there's another enzyme, I believe, aldolase. And that allows two different pathways to occur, possibly. Glyceraldehyde or dihydroxyacetone phosphate. But with, let's just say, glyceraldehyde, there's another enzyme, I believe, glycerol dehydrogenase, which allows that to process into glycerol. And there's another enzyme, glycerol kinase, again, that allows glycerol, let's just say, to become glycerol 3-phosphate. There's another process, I believe, esterification of some sort, I can be wrong, that will make it into triglyceride. Let's just go back to fructose-1,6 phosphate and that other pathway. There is, I think, dihydroxyacetone phosphate. And that enzyme, I think, aldolase, allows for fructose-1,6 phosphate to come into process as dihydroxyacetone phosphate. And then there's another enzyme, I believe, isomerase, as I pronounce, and it becomes or allows the process of dihydroxyacetone phosphate to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. And there's another process that I may be forgetting, but it can then be converted into a glycerol 3-phosphate. But with this process, it can then go into a process of becoming phosphoenolpyruvate, and then there's the pyruvate kinase, and then it becomes pyruvate, and then pyruvate dehydrogenase, acetyl-CoA, and then we got fatty acids. And I believe that's de novo lipogenesis. And that's because we're taking something that is not fat, like fructose, and making it into, let's just say, fat. I think that's de novo synthesis. So let's consider you or your child who's ingesting, drinking a beverage high in fructose or consuming foods and everything. Most things have high fructose corn syrup. How are we going to control that on top of what we're drinking? And it's not just children. It's also adults who consume alcohol. Because some would say, well, wait a minute. You're forgetting the point. High fructose corn syrup also has glucose and fructose. I don't give a fuck. It still has glucose, it has fructose. Or people who then consume beverages with, like, fructose containing agave nectar. Okay, let me just make this clear. I often tell people, if you are ingesting the standard USA diet, your liver is not going to properly function after a while, okay? You're going to go downhill. You're not going to have that quality of life. Once you damage your liver, it's a major organ. You have to consider all the other things your liver does. Like, let's just say, proteins generate certain things in the body that we need. If your liver is compromised from what you're putting into your body, excess amounts can poison your body. You will have hormonal issues. And I don't care what your nutritionist says who works for the Corn Refiners Association. I don't care if your healthcare professional has a PhD, a master's degree. When you're wrong regardless of what education you have. Doesn't matter. If you're wondering why this information is being withheld, I would have to jump around and say, well, the food industry, but I don't rule things out these days. But there are a lot of healthcare professionals stating that it's fine to consume fructose in moderation. But they know damn well that these people are not going to consume it in moderation. And the people around you that you're paying all this money to, your medical doctor and whoever, is not really telling you the truth, or maybe they're just misinformed. This information about fructose has been around for years. I actually review biochemistry books from the 1980s and earlier, and this pathway is mentioned. Also, fitness competitors, bodybuilders, fitness models have known this for years. If you ask them, should I consume this beverage with fructose? And they'll look at you like you're crazy. I think I spoke enough, and I hope this video was informative. Please share it and subscribe. Thanks.